Patriotism is supporting your country all the time and your government when it deserves it.
The quote suggests that patriotism involves both loyalty to one's country and critical engagement with one's government. The first part of the quote, supporting your country all the time, suggests that patriotism involves a deep sense of pride and affection for one's country. This can involve a love for one's country's history, culture, traditions, and natural beauty. It can also involve a commitment to the well-being of one's fellow citizens and a desire to make one's country a better place. However, the phrase "in your government when it merits it" in the second section of the quotation implies that being a patriot also means having a critical eye for one's own government. This entails holding one's government responsible for actions that are not in the nation's or its citizens' best interests. It entails speaking up against harmful or unfair practices, even if one's government backs them. In essence, the remark implies that genuine patriotism calls for love of one's country, a dedication to its principles, and a readiness to speak out against policies that violate those principles.
What is man? Man is a noisome bacillus whom our Heavenly Father created because he was disappointed in the monkey.
The quotation makes a lighthearted and satirical observation about our nature and our role in the universe. What is man? The opening line of the quotation is a rhetorical question that implies a thorough investigation into what it means to be human. The second portion of the quotation, "Man is a noisome bacillus," uses a metaphor to compare people to a pathogen that causes sickness. This allegory implies that people are a negative influence rather than a good one in the world, whom our Heavenly Father made because he was disappointed with the monkey, according to the last line of the quotation, is a light-hearted justification for our existence. According to this account, God created humanity as a failed experiment since they weren't content with their prior creatures. Essentially, the remark offers a comical and pessimistic view on human nature, implying that people are defective, bad beings that are just slightly superior to other animals. It is crucial to remember that the quotation is meant to be funny observation rather than a serious philosophical or religious statement, and shouldn't be taken too seriously.
Now and then we had a hope that if we lived and were good, God would permit us to be pirates.
Also, it makes a lighthearted and satirical point on the nature of kids' dreams and desires. The phrase implies that the speaker and their pals fantasized of being pirates as kids and even believed that God would grant their wish if they behaved morally. This sarcastic juxtaposition of piracy and morality implies that the speaker is making fun of children's idealistic and naive character and is aware of the underlying contradiction in their childhood fantasy. Also, the remark implies that the speaker and their associates were probably inspired by the popular culture of the time, which frequently idealized piracy as a risky and exciting activity. In fact, piracy was a risky and sometimes violent profession that few individuals really engaged in. Ultimately, the phrase is a hilarious satire on the unreasonable expectations we have of life and the fantastical nature of youthful aspirations. It implies that we should embrace our ambitions and goals while simultaneously being aware of their constraints in the line between imagination and reality.
Let us be thankful for the fools, but for them the rest of us could not succeed.
Carl Sandburg, an American author and philosopher, is credited with saying this. According to the quote, there is importance in those who are viewed as fools, and without them, society as a whole would not be able to flourish. Let's be glad for idiots is the first line of the quotation, which shows appreciation for people who are frequently mocked or disregarded by society. This might relate to those who are viewed as less bright, less successful, or less socially skilled than others. But without them, the rest of us could not succeed. the second half of the phrase says, implying that there is a hidden worth in these fools. This quality may be their readiness to take chances, their capacity for creative thinking, or their disregard for societal mores and traditions. The rest of society may advance and succeed by adopting these traits. Essentially, the remark implies that we shouldn't discount or disregard those who are unusual or different, since they can have valuable insights to share. It serves as a reminder to be accepting of others, to be open-minded, and to understand the value of variety and individuality in fostering a successful community.
A successful book is not made of what is in it, but what is left out of it.
According to the phrase, a book's success is more likely to be influenced by what is left out or eliminated than by what is included in it. The quotation illustrates the notion that a book's success is more likely to be influenced by the caliber and potency of its message than by the volume of information or detail it includes. This might be accomplished by selectively deleting details that are not crucial to the narrative or argument, or by concentrating on a few important topics or concepts. A book may be made more focused and succinct by omitting unnecessary details, which can enhance the clarity and impact of its content. Moreover, omitting details might motivate readers to fill in the blanks with their imaginations, which can enhance the reading experience and make it more memorable. Essentially, the remark implies that effective writing entails careful content selection and omission, and that a book's effectiveness is frequently based on its capacity to do so in a clear and simple manner.
I thoroughly disapprove of duels. If a man should challenge me, I would take him kindly and forgivingly by the hand and lead him to a quiet place and kill him.
The statement makes fun of dueling's silliness and senselessness in a funny and sarcastic way. I totally disapprove of duels begins the phrase, implying the speaker's opposition to the custom, which was formerly a widespread means for individuals to settle disputes or protect their honor. If a man were to confront me, the second half of the phrase, if a man should challenge me, I would take him tenderly and forgivingly by the hand and lead him to a peaceful area and murder him, is a joking answer. The speaker implies that they would just murder their opponent in a quiet, private setting as opposed to engaging in a formal, ritualistic fight. The quotation illustrates the absurdity of dueling as a method of resolving disputes, and is meant to be amusing and sarcastic. Moreover, it makes the case that less harmful and effective alternatives of resolving conflicts should be sought out rather than resorting to violence.
Under certain circumstances, profanity provides a relief denied even to prayer.
According to the quotation, there are some circumstances in which cursing or using profanity can offer a sense of release or comfort that is not possible through other channels, like prayer. The remark expresses the belief that using profanity or cursing may be a potent and therapeutic method to communicate strong emotions like rage or frustration, as compared to more conventional methods of communication like prayer or meditation, which might not offer as much emotional release. This can sometimes be more successful. The remark does not necessarily imply that people should use profanity carelessly or without regard for others. Instead, it emphasizes the notion that cursing or using profanity may be a typical human reaction to trying or demanding circumstances, as well as a technique to cope with strong emotions. Essentially, the remark makes the point that, when used sparingly and with regard for others, cursing or using profanity may occasionally be a healthy and effective method to express emotions and cope with stress.
The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated.
This well-known adage is credited to American comic and novelist Mark Twain. That was his answer to a report that he was terminally ill and on his deathbed in 1897. The quotation exemplifies Twain's sense of humor and his capacity to make a potentially unpleasant circumstance lighter. And humorous, Twain was able to make light of himself and the circumstance while reassuring his fans and following that he was still alive, and well by jokingly refuting the reports of his death. The statement is now frequently used in lighthearted or comedic contexts to dispel or contradict untrue rumors or rumors about someone's death. Also, it can be used more broadly to imply that rumors or reports of any type could not be totally true or trustworthy.
Life does not consist mainly, or even largely, of facts or happenings. It consists mainly of the storm of thoughts that is forever flowing through one's head.
William James, an American novelist and philosopher, is credited with saying this. According to the remark, life is not merely a compilation of facts and occurrences, but is instead fundamentally molded by the thoughts and mental processes that preoccupy our brains continually. The remark expresses the notion that our thoughts and feelings have a strong impact on how we see the outside world, and that internal mental storms can have a similar impact to outside occurrences. These can include happy thoughts, anxious thoughts, worried thoughts, or any other variety of emotions and mental states. The quotation also suggests that our ideas and mental processes may result in both immense joy and enormous misery, and that they are not always under our control. This is consistent with James' larger pragmatism theory, which places a strong emphasis on the role that experience and action play in forming our views and values. Essentially, the remark implies that our ideas and mental processes are crucial in determining how we see and experience the environment, and that life is a complex and dynamic interaction between our internal and exterior experiences.
When I was younger, I could remember anything, whether it had happened or not. But my faculties are decaying now, and soon I shall be so I cannot remember any but the things that never happened. It is sad to go to pieces like this, but we all have to do it.
The remark expresses the belief that memory and mental abilities deteriorate with age, and that elderly people may find it difficult to recall prior events and particulars. The phrase also implies that recall is not always accurate, and that people may recall events that never actually occurred. This illustrates the limitations of memory and the possibility that our memories might be swayed by a number of elements, such as fantasy, emotion, and suggestion. Twain bemoans the decline of his memory and mental sharpness in the quotation, which has a melancholy tone. It implies that aging and the loss of cognitive ability are unavoidable features of human existence, and that we will all eventually have to deal with this reality. The quotation examines the nature of memory and the passage of time in general, emphasizing the need of cherishing and keeping our memories while we still have them.